Hello, everyone. Welcome to our week 3 to 4 Music and Arts 8, quarter 2. We are still on the same topic traditional Asian folk arts and new creative trends, session for theater. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This is your teacher, Zakara. Here is our content standard. So you may pause the video and read the content standard. Performance standard. Learning competency and learning objectives. So kindly pause the video and read the competency and the objectives. Once again, we are still on the topic traditional Asian folk arts and new creative trends, but we will be focusing in session 4 or subtopic 4, which is theater. Chinese Beijing opera, Indian Kathakali, and Japanese no theater. Compare and contrast. So please watch the video clips and try to compare them or uh, try to distinguish if there is any differences or there are any differences rather.
പ്രാക്ടീസ് ചെയ്യുക. അധ്യാപകർ പഠിപ്പിക്കുന്നത് മൂവ്മെന്റുകൾ മാത്രമേ പഠിപ്പിക്കുന്നുള്ളൂ. നമ്മുടെ മനസ്സും കൂടി ചേരുമ്പോഴാണ്.
What have you observed in the videos presented? Why do they have to work on their facial expressions that much to entertain the audience? Theater. We are now in session 4, subtopic 4, theater. So we'll be working on, or we will try to learn about the Chinese Beijing opera from China, Japanese no theater from Japan, and Indian Kathakali, of course, from India. Chinese Beijing opera. Beijing opera, also known as Peking opera. Peking opera is a traditional form of Chinese theater that combines various art forms, including music, vocal performance, mime, dance, and acrobatics. It originated in the late 18th century during the Qing dynasty and became fully developed in the 19th century. So, Peking opera is characterized by its highly stylized performances, elaborate costumes, colorful makeup, and exaggerated movements. The performers use a combination of singing, speech, and gesture to convey emotions and tell stories. So there are different roles in Chinese Beijing opera or Peking opera. Sheng, or the male role, the first one is Lao Sheng. So Lao Sheng is a senior male role. Um, so he is a dignified, older, bearded man with a gentle and cultivated disposition, acting with a decency. Usually they are roles that are high ranking military officers. So the bird can be black or white, and depending on the role's age, the costumes are less colorful than the warriors with a painted face. Another sheng, or another male role, is hong sheng, a version of the lao sheng but with a red face. Shao sheng, young handsome man who sings with a high pitched voice. So, depending on his position in society, his costume might be elaborate or plain and would wear a hat with long pheasant feathers. Another sheng or male role, wushing. They are actors that are good in martial arts and often performs with spears and swords. Dan, or the female role. The first one is Zengdan or King Yi. This is the main woman roles in traditional Chinese drama. King Yi is the most important role in Peking opera and plays dignified, serious, and decent characters, which are mostly wives or mothers. Another Dan, Gimindan is an unmarried and young girl role. Her immaturity is clearly shown in her reactions. Though naughty and slightly mischievous, the characteristics of the role are introverted and shy. Daumadan is a warrior female and performs in a strong manner. She wears a military headdress and weapons. Huadan. Huadan characters are young, flirtatious, unmarried women with coy expressions and fleeting movements on stage. So her costume is made of a brightly colored jacket and trousers. Alaudan is an old woman. She does not wear any makeup, and her costume is often made of somber colors and style. Wodan is a female acrobatic role and requires a high standard of acrobatics. The costume of the role is simple and clothing is convenient for her movements. Jing, or the painted face male role. So the Jing is a prominent character with a painted face of a high social class. He has a deep voice and a confident manner that can either be a good or bad role. So the colors on his face would dictate what kind of character he was. Red for good, black for brave, white for cunning, yellow for brutal, and blue for wild. Another role is the Chu, the comedy role. So the Wen Chu or Wen Chao is often a dandy, jailer, bartender, or a bellman. Another comedy role is the Wu Chu or the Wu Chao is usually a vigilant and witty character who is extremely good at kung fu. The character would be comparable to Robin Hood, who robs the rich to give the poor. So usually the stories and themes of Beijing opera it draws from Chinese history, mythology, legends, and classical literature. And then the themes it revolve around loyalty, bravery, love, and justice. So the famous works include The Legend of the White Snake and The Romance of the Three Kingdoms. As for their training and mastery, the performer requires years of rigorous training in singing, acting, martial arts, and acrobatics. So they usually start at a young age and then undergo intense apprenticeships with the masters. For Beijing opera, they are considered as intangible cultural heritage. So, despite modernization and changes in Chinese society, it continues to be cherished and preserved as a cultural treasure. For the instruments and music, the music in Beijing opera is performed using traditional Chinese instruments such as the erhu. So this is a two-stringed fiddle, pipa, this is a lute, and this is the percussion. So the music is highly melodic and rhythmic, serving to enhance the mood and action on stage. So that one is an erhu, a two-stringed fiddle. This one is a pipa, which is a lute, and a gong. So let's watch an example.
京剧，京剧
Chengdu or the Beijing Opera. Oops. Okay, so you can just watch the full video by clicking the link which is in the description box. So let's move forward. We're now going to talk about Indian Kasakali. Indian Kathakali is a highly stylized classical Indian dance drama that originated in the state of Kerala in southern India. It emerged in the 17th century, blending elements of dance, music theater, and ritualistic storytelling. So it has its roots in ancient Sanskrit theatrical traditions, folk dances, and martial arts. So they use elaborate costumes and makeup. That is one of the most striking aspects of Kasakali, right? So performers wear colorful and intricately designed costumes, often adorned with jewelry and accessories. So the makeup known as Pacha green, Kathi knife, Tati red, and Minuku polished is applied in a highly stylized manner to depict various characters such as gods, demons, heroes, and heroines. Different colors and patterns are used to visually distinguish characters, such as green for divine figures, red for evil or high ranking characters, and white for forest dwelling hunters. Kathikali is known for its elaborate hand gestures known as mudras, which are used to convey emotions, actions, and characters. These gestures are highly symbolic and precise, with each mudra having specific meanings. So, example, the Hamsasha Hasta in classical dance represents the shape of a swan and is also similar to Gyan Mudra in yoga, which increases the memory power, enhances concentration, and prevents insomnia. Therefore, their hand movements or hand gestures are actually not just simply for decorative purposes or for aesthetic purposes, but they have meaning. So, these are just some examples of the different hand gestures or the what we call mudras. So the facial expressions and eye movements in Kathakali are highly expressive and play a crucial role in conveying emotions and telling stories. Performers undergo extensive training to master these expressions, which are essential for communicating with the audience. So as you can
പ്രാക്ടീസ്
see,
ചെയ്യുക.
they are really practicing
അധ്യാപകർ
because they have
പഠിപ്പിക്കുന്നത്
school.
മൂവ്മെന്റുകൾ മാത്രമേ പഠിപ്പിക്കുന്നുള്ളൂ. നമ്മുടെ മനസ്സും കൂടി ചേരുമ്പോഴാണ് ഈ കണ്ണിന്റെ യഥാർത്ഥ പ്രകടനം പ്രേക്ഷകരിലേക്ക് എത്തുന്നത്. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ വെറും മൂവ്മെന്റ് മാത്രമായി. ഈ സ്ഥാപനത്തിന്റെ പേര് കേരള
So they
കലാമണ്ഡലം.
have a school in
സ്ഥാപിച്ചിട്ട്
Kerala.
87 വർഷമായി.
So performers
അംഗങ്ങളെ കൊണ്ടുള്ള
really go
ആംഗിക
to
അഭിനയം
school and undergo
ഏറ്റവും
training.
പ്രധാനം. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെയാണ് കണ്ണിനെ പ്രാക്ടീസ് ചെയ്ത് നമ്മുടെ ഇഷ്ടത്തിനനുസരിച്ച് ചലിപ്പിക്കാൻ പ്രാക്ടീസ് കൊണ്ട് നേടിയെടുക്കുകയാണ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ഇവിടെ പഠിക്കാൻ വരുന്ന കുട്ടി 13 വയസ്സ്, അതിൻ്റെ ജീവിത അവസാനം വരെ പഠിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക. 4 മണിക്കൂർ എങ്കിലും സമയമെടുക്കുന്നു. ബുദ്ധിമുട്ട് തന്നെയാണ് അത്. അപ്പോൾ തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും ഈ സംസ്കാരം വളർത്തിയെടുക്കുന്നതിനാണ് തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും ഈ പാരമ്പര്യ ആയിട്ടുള്ള കലകൾ ശരീരവും കഥകളിക്ക് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് അർപ്പിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത് ജീവിതം. അപ്പോൾ
No and kabuki. What are the differences? No and kabuki are the two most famous traditional stage arts, and they might seem similar, but they're actually very different. No theater was born during the Romaji period about 600 years ago, when ancient street performances and rituals for good harvest were combined. It was loved by many of the powerful samurai warlords, such as Nobunaga, Ryoshi, and Ieyasu, and it was even called the Bushi no Shikigaku, the samurai code of etiquette during the Edo period. Kabuki, on the other hand, was born in the beginning of the Edo period, about 400 years ago, as the most popular form of entertainment for the commoners to enjoy. While no plays have strong ceremonial and religious aspects, Kabuki was simply enjoyment, like movies and drama today. However, today, anyone can enjoy both of the stage arts freely at the theaters. An easy way to distinguish the two is that no actors wear masks, but Kabuki actors have makeup to play their roles.
No-gaku is a blend of two traditional Japanese theatre forms, No and Kyogen. While No is a dramatic art form weaving together music, dance, and storytelling, Kyogen provides a comedic counterbalance, offering light-hearted humour. Together, they form the bedrock of Japan's classical performing arts tradition. The roots of No stretch back over 650 years to the Muromachi period in the 14th century. Period in the 8th century, center of gravity, an expression of politeness and refinement. This art of walking forms the foundation of No's mesmerizing physicality. Equally crucial to No's allure are its masks. These aren't mere props but powerful conduits of transformation. When an actor dons a No mask, they embody the very essence of the character, be it a god, spirit, or ghost. The mask becomes a bridge between the mortal and divine realms, allowing performers to transcend their individual identities and fully inhabit their roles.
Chinese. 谢谢你，谢谢你。Thank you in Chinese.
Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You may visit us also on our Facebook page.